Good morning. Hi Philippa. Just sorting out my computer. We should be away. There we go. And I can see the comments. Splendid. Okay, there's not many on this morning. All busy, gone back to work. Yeah, it's quite nice today as well. Not as sunny as you can sit in the garden, but nice day for opening the shed doors and having a craft. So, it's all good. So, good morning, Christine. I'll just give it a little minute and then see if any more come on. Well, we've got 8, so I shall make a start. Don't want to keep you for long. Hi, Yvonne. You all right, doll? Hi, Andreen. Good morning. So, I don't have a sample because it went to Julie. So, this is what we're going to be making. We're going to be using the new Postage and More stamps. And we're just going to be using this small postage stamp and the heart, I think, on this one. We're going to be using they're still new, so I can't remember the names. Julie's letters and number tiles, and we will be using the heart version of, because I used the stars last time, so I'm going to use the heart version of Hazel's medley dies. So there we go. I'll just pop these to one side and I will crack on. So what we need is, now I don't have any A3 card, so I've had to use card blanks, so it's a bit of a cheat. But we have started off, well, I've started off with an 8x8 card base. And what I did was I cut it down to a 7x6 card base. Okay, so I've just cut the card base to be that size, because we want it to kind of look taller than wider. But I guess it's up to you. If you want to make it a different size, that's totally up to you. But the front part of it here, once you've got your card base at 7x6, cut the front one to 5 3/4. Okay? Because when we put the piece across the top, we don't want to have to really bend the card to get it out. We want it to just slide out. And you'll see that later when we put the top part on. So we've cut this part here now to 5 3/4. Okay? So that's the actual front and back part of your card done. And then the next thing we needed to do is make an insert for it that we can sit the pot on, the little plant pot on. So again, I've used a card base, and it was a 6x6 to start with. Okay, and I've cut this to 5 3/4 again, so that what's going to happen is that is going to sit inside of there. Right, let me just measure that one again, just to make sure that I've got it right and I haven't given you a dodgy measurement. I always use inches on my cards. I never ever bother with centimetres, it confuses me too much. Let me just check that, because that looks a little larger. So 5, no, it's 5 3/4, it's spot on. And this one, the inner, has been cut to 5 1/2, not 5 3/4. So I'll go through that again because I've probably confused you. 7x6 we cut the 8x8 card down to. Then the front part there we cut to 5 3/4 that way, and this is 5 1/2 by 5 1/2. There we go. Now we're cooking. I've written it down wrong over there. So what we need to do with this now to create the pop up is, what I've done is 2 1/4 inches in. I have measured and put a mark, and then again on that side 2 1/4 in, measured it and put a mark, and then I drew a line that came to 1 1/4 inches up. And then all we got to do simply is trim in to that line. I hope you can see there. Okay, now you can either score it or just fold it. It's up to you at this point here. But what we need to do is pop that forward. And this is where your plant pot's going to sit on, okay? So if you just fold it down, press it down and press it across. You can get your scoreboard out and do that if you wish, but there's really no need. And then you've created your pop-up, okay? So that is your pop-up that's going to sit inside of there. So far so good, easy. So the next piece we need is a piece that's going to encapsulate the whole thing at the top. It's going to go across there like that, and it's going to catch that ready and seal it. We're going to do that with some ribbon. We're going to seal that with some ribbon. And this part of the card is 8 inches by 3¼ inches. Okay? And we've put it on the scoreboard, and we've scored at... I'll get the scoreboard out just to make sure these measurements are right as well, because I was in a hurry when I did it. We've scored it at 1¾ and 1½, okay? 1½ and 1¾ and it gives you like a little channel there that will sit over the top of your card and give it enough space for the rest of the stuff to fit inside. So we've got 3 pieces now. And then the last piece we need is to make the plant pot. And I like to make the plant pot double, so it's got a good thickness on it, and you can catch the flowers inside it then. So this piece is 2 inches by 4 inches, and all we've done is scored it at 2, and it's ready folded in half. Okay, and then the piece that sits across the top, that looks like the top of the pot, okay, is 2¼ inches by 3¼ inches. There we go. Now, simple. To make the pot, all you do is come in here by 1/4 inch and put a mark there and a mark on that side at, again, 1/4 inch. And then you take your scissors, you line it up, and you just cut towards the top, and that will give you the shape of your pot, okay? And the same here, cut down to there, and that's the pot shape, ready for that to go across the top. And I'll just rub that number out so you can't see it when it's on the back. There we go. So that's all the pieces you need, and now it's just time to decorate them. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is put this pot together. So I just need a spare bit of card to colour on. Now the colour I'm choosing this time for the pot is tea dye. I'm giving it like a terracotta colour. So I'm just going to, I'm only colouring the top one. I'm not colouring the back of it, just the top part there. So go down to the fold on it. And what I like to do is come in from either side. And then you can kind of leave like a little white bit in the middle, as if it was a bit of shade and a bit of light coming in. And then you can just darken up the sides of the pot to give it like a little bit more shape then, dimension, if you kind of get me. There we are. Go as dark as you like. Take it up, fold it. No, I still need a little bit more colour. This tea dye, it's quite an old one. There we go. So that's that done. And then I'm going to do the same with the top part of the pot. Okay, bring it in. From either side, and then you can do it as dark as you want. Again, try and get the little white space in the middle so that when you put it on, it's kind of lining up with your pot. You need to come a little bit further over with that one. And then I'm just going to go and darken the edges up a bit as well. There we go. So there's the pot. So there, we are ready with that. So I'll just give my hands a wipe, get the tea dye off. Okay, so let's start on this now. Move them out of the way. So the insert. What I want to do with this is add a little bit of colour, just a little bit of stamping. So I'm going to use, like I said, the little heart out of this piece here. And I've got one of these sort of, I don't know what they're called, I don't know. They were from cardio, you know, you use them for the cardio stamps. But they're good because you can see inside them from the top. You can look down and see where you stamp, and make sure your stamp's kind of coloured. It's just a tiny little stamp, but it's so useful. And for this, I'm going to use Wild Honey Oxide. Okay, so you just kind of check that it's got some colour on it, and then just randomly stamp some little hearts. I have a big problem doing random. I do. Massive problem. But just, you know, as many as you want. You can... I'm choosing the wild honey because I'm going to use this wild honey on the flowers as well. So if you're using a couple of colours, you could use a couple of colours. You know, just random stamp all over it. See, I'm thinking too much now instead of just stamping it randomly. You do this, put it on, start stamping randomly, and then end up going, oh, I need another one there, I need another one there. I might put another couple in here. See, here we go. I think that'll do. So just give that a wipe, put it back. There we go. Any questions so far while I'm still messing about? No? Good. Let's see. Hi Josephine, hi Alison, hi Jax, hi Bev. Wow, public holiday. There you go. So what I'm going to do with the short piece, which is going to fold upwards, I'm going to put this insert in now. And what I've got double-sided tape across the back of it, because I really want the outside edges to stick, and I want them to stick really well. So I'm going to put, I have put tape all the way around, but obviously not across this part, because we don't want that part to stick. That's the actual pop-up. So just up to that, either side, and not across it, because otherwise it won't pop up. All right, so now what we need to do is I'm laying it with the part that isn't sticky down, and I'm making sure that we've got a decent border all the way around, and that it goes right the way up to the fold. Okay, all the way up to the fold. And once you've got it there, you can then close this down. You really do need it to go to the fold. Okay, give it a good press down. So that side's stuck now, and now we just need to take the tape off this side and fold it over, and that is then your insert. There we are. I mean, these insert things, these pop-up things, are quite easy to do, and you know, you can put anything inside them. It's quite cute, little bits of balloons, anything like that. So once you've got that there, now press it flat and fold your card over. Press it down. There we are. And now it's in and ready as a pop-up. Okay. So we can now move on to the flowers. I've chosen daisies. I do love this new set, this new daisy set of Julie's. Just daisies. I've coloured some ready, but I'm going to colour this one in. And for that, I am using my Inktense pencil. I love this green Inktense. You can tell by the size of it. It's a really pretty, fresh green colour. But, you know, use anything you want to colour your flowers. And then I have a paintbrush somewhere and some water. And I'm just going to loosely spread this out. Not too much water. I want the bottom part of it to be dark on the leaf. Kind of does its own shading for you that way. There we are. And then for the flowers, I'm using scattered straw and a bit of wild honey distress ink this time. So I'm just going to put a little bit of each on this piece of acetate so I can pick it up to paint this one flower. So I'm just going to make a watery wash with the scattered straw just to paint in the whole of the leaf, petal rather, quite loosely. And then while it's still wet, I'm going to pick some of the wild honey up and add that in, and it will kind of merge about and do its thing. And then I'm going to pick up some honey darker without adding water to it, just to colour the head and just around the head. Okay, and that's that coloured. Wipe that off. So there's all the flowers we've got, and there's the pot, and there's the pop-up there. Right, obviously the pot is going to go onto there, onto the front of there, okay, but we need to make sure that when we're putting the flowers in, they're not going to go any higher than this part here, because this is the part that tucks underneath the lid of it then, if you like. So we don't want it to go too high. Right, so I'm just going to pop in my glue gun and make a start with these flowers. So you can kind of put them in whichever way you want there, and you can then clip the thing together and then check it on there to make sure that it's not going to go too high, if you know what I mean. Right, okay, I'm going to tuck them three, and I'm going to put that one in a bit higher up, I think. There we go. And then you can just pick them up in the pot and check that it's not going too far up. And that's okay. That seems to be okay where that is. So we'll go with that. Now, I'm going to put a piece of tape across there to catch these so they'll sit straight while we get it all organised in place, just to kind of make them sit down properly. It kind of takes longer to get the tape back off, doesn't it? There we are. So we know we want this one to go about there. Again, just check it's not going too high, and it's not. Right, that can stay there. Then we're going with one on this side. That's fine. Another one on here, so that can come up a little bit just to give a nice shape to your bouquet, if you get me. Again, check it's not going to be too high, and if it is, just move it down slightly, like kind of arranging your own flowers. This one can go here, and then what I'm going to do with this one is add it to the back of there. Okay, now what I like to do is once you've got them all in place, okay, put some glue down where they sit against the next one. It just gives it some stability when it's on your card. It's not flapping about all over the place. Wherever they touch the other flower, put some glue and stick them together. Even the leaves too. Down there, the leaf, and then give it a good press down. And then you can see they don't flap about so much. But this one now, I'm going to glue so it's got a nice shape there. Yeah, so that's going to glue on the back of that one. All the way down the leaf. And then a little bit where the head touches the other one, but we'll wait till we get that on. There. A little bit higher. And then a little bit of glue underneath there too. Okay, and now we can glue this all together. You can cut off any extra stems that you don't need if you wish, or you can leave them on, it doesn't really matter, but put some glue on it and put it together. Join it up like that, okay? And then we can put the little piece across the top there to give us the pot shape. Let's just hold that down. Hi Elaine, no worries, you can catch up. I hope everything went okay. A little bit of glue across there. Actually, what I might do is put some of this on, some double-sided across it, foam pad, and that way it'll stand up nice, I think. Make it kind of stand up across there. I got these thin little pads, which are quite good for shaker cards. These are from Studio Light. So now you've just got to pop this on and make sure that your pot is kind of evened up. On either side you've got the same overhang. There we are, there's your pot. I mean, that could go on a card on itself, it doesn't need to be a pop-up. So let's see where we're at now. Yep, we're good, that's all dry. And now the pot is going to go on the front of that, okay? And I'm going to use, I was going to use hot glue, but it might stand too proud out. So I'll put a bit of this on the bottom of there and then some on here. Some glue, and then we're going to glue it on and hold on to it just for a little while it sticks. Okay, as you can see, it's there, all popped up nicely. There we are, and once it's in, fold it down. Now I think I am going to have to use hot glue because it's just going to take too long to stick together otherwise, if you know what I mean. And as we are doing a live, you can take your time at home. Hot glue will keep it on quicker. There we go. And then just make sure that you can fold it down, it's not in the way. And there we go, there's your pop-up pot. Let's leave that to dry while we crack on with this piece. Now this piece that goes across the top, like this, okay, and it just catches this part here to send it flat, but it makes it easy to come out when you want to open it and stand it up. So I'll rub this out because obviously we don't want to see all that. If you can find the rubber, there we are. Just rub all that out. And I've made a little mark there on either side, about let's see how much in. We've gone an inch in on either side, just to give you the guideline to put this in. So you've got the same amount hanging over on either side there. And on the back of this, I have double-sided tape. And this is going to go right to the top of that there. So again, once you're doing this yourself at home, you can use glue, but it is an instant stick, isn't it, with double-sided for a live, so that's good. Right, so thank you Elaine. Yeah, it's easy to do, isn't it? You know, it's sort of just like you've made an effort. Okay, so lay it flat, and you've got your double-sided sticky on there, and then you've got your guidelines. You're going to go up to the first fold. There we are. And press it down. Okay, and that's going to sit like that, right? Pop up when you want it to. So, to decorate now, I have chosen like a yellow colour, and I've just put a panel across there, and then a panel of white on the top. So I'm going to stick that on, and then we're going to put the ribbon around it to keep it closed. Okay, so this yellow card matches the colour of my daisies. There we are. There we go. Right, Now, ribbon. I've chosen a checked ribbon this time. And a yellow check. I'm just picking it up. There we go. Dropped it on the floor. I'm getting some more daisies out as well because I'm going to need those. There we go. Put them away. I was too organised. So I've chosen some yellow checked ribbon. And what we're going to do is wrap this around the front of the pot. Okay. And I'm going to make it so that it actually sticks together on here. Now, you can, it's up to you whether you glue the ribbon on all the way round or just glue it, you know, on the front part there. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to glue it on the front with hot glue so it doesn't come off. So about there in the middle, I'm going to start with the glue. Pop it on. And give it a little minute to dry. You can use raffia, you can use whatever you like on this. Wrap it round. Not too tight because you do want to be able to get your card out. So, and then snip off what you don't need. There we go. And then we're going to cover that so you can't see it with a little bow. A nice little bow over the top of it. So again, I'm going to put that on with hot glue. Just for live purposes. But I do like hot glue. It does kind of instant stick. And it stays where it should. So make sure you put it in the middle, which I haven't done. There we are, move it over a bit before it dries. There we go. So your whole card pops underneath like that, and you've got your ribbon across the top. There we are. Okay, it does hold it down. It's fine, it holds it down. Move this out the way now. I've made a right mess. Put that back out the way. Okay, so to decorate the front, what I've cut is one of Hazel's heart dies with the inner part. Not the little heart ones that cut everything out, although you could use that if you wanted to. So I've used this one, and I've used the scallop outer to cut that, and then I've just used this one to cut into it and give me a panel in the middle. There's so many different ways that you could decorate the front of this. Using these, I just think it covers the whole thing, and it's you know, it's just a nice front on it. So quite a versatile die set them, aren't they? And then I've used the same yellow card, and I'm just going to pop that behind there just to give it some colour, so it's not all white on white. And I'm going to glue this on to here so that you can see the nice yellow colour through the holes. There we go. Give it a good press down. And then this simply just goes on the front of there, like that. Okay? You might have to open it a bit to put it all in, because it will tuck, a little bit of it will tuck underneath. So, a bit of glue on there. Make sure it sticks. Centralise it up. So it's about the same on all sides, and then press it down. And now I'm just going to colour, because I forgot to do those, some little flowers for the front of the card. So, let's see. We have 3 daisies, I think. 1, 2. So I always have a tray of them all. When I first get a new die set, I have a tray, and I just cut them all out and get them ready to go. so that I sit there of a night and cut them out. Let's see which ones we're going to use. I think we'll have 2 of them and 1 of them in the middle this time. Yep, that'll do. And then it's just a quick paint, like we did before on the ones on the inside, so they're all kind of matching. Quick scribble on the leaves, which is my favourite way to colour, as you know. Leaves done. I do find it, I quite enjoy watercolouring because you don't have to be precise, and that I really love about it. I like the way it looks when it's finished as well. And then again with the flowers, scattered straw first, bit of water, do a watery wash over all of it. And then once this is done, while it's still a little damp, go in with some wild honey just to darken the top front parts up. Give it a little bit of a depth on it. We always go quiet when we colour, don't we? Has anybody got any questions while I'm here doing this bit, not having to concentrate? No? Let me check. No, so far so good. A little bit of that. Pick it up without water on and put it on. Just to darken them bits up. I hope you can see this okay. It's quite bright in this in my craft shed. It's quite a bright light, because sometimes I craft into the night, you know. When I'm busy doing samples, I'll stay in here for hours. So, and then pick up a little bit more and just do the middle part, and then that's all good. There we are. Okay. The only thing I need now is a little bit of a bow for the front of it, I think. So I'm just going to grab I've got a load of cheap jewellery thread, which I use for wrapping and stuff, and I'm just going to dig out some yellow. Yeah, that'll do. That'll do, that one. And my trusty cheap and cheerful bow maker. I just want a small bow for this. I think just 1 peg, but I'll have a double one just because I can. So I do like a bow maker. I know there's loads of ways to make a bow, but you know, I got this out of a magazine and it was years old, but I've got about 8 of them. I've got the big Zutter ones and everything, but this is the one I go to every single time to make a cute little bow. Come on out, there we are, not frayed edge. Okay. So now we're just going to put this together on the front, just to give it a little bit of something. We don't have to put it on with foam pads. If you don't want to, you can put it on with glue, but I think I will, just to give it some dimension. There we go. I had to actually buy some little foam pads just for this. I didn't have much, well, in fact I've got no cardboard left, so I had to go and buy some foam pads, which was kind of annoying. But you can't live without them, can you? You can't live without cardboard or foam pads if you want dimension on your cards. There we are. So let's see, we'll have one there, we'll have one there, and we'll have this one in the middle, I think. And in the middle one, I'm just going to pop this this bow just on the middle one. So I want to glue that down. You could also put a thing across here, you know, like a enjoy your special day banner or something across the bottom there to hide it if you don't want it seen. But I'm going to put happy birthday on the inside, so I don't think I'll bother putting a thing on the front of this. As I said, decoration is totally up to you. Little bow on the bottom, little cute bow. Right, let's see where we're at now. Just got to put the happy birthdays on the inside, I think. I know, I was the same, Philippa, but I had no cardboard and it's been raining, so I couldn't go and get any from the neighbour's recycling bin, because she doesn't mind if I do that. Sometimes I'll go and take some from her recycling bin if the weather's been good, but she didn't have any in her either, so I was a bit, oh dear. Right, so let's move this and let's get on with the happy birthday words. There we go. So I've already coloured half of them, the birthday bits. So what I'm going to do is show you how to colour what I've done with it, with that one. I'm going to show you on here. So I have the scattered straw, sorry, and the wild honey, which are the only two colours really that I've used throughout the whole of the card. So I'm going to start off with the scattered straw, and I'm going to ink up my little brush, and I'm just going to do halfway on the letters, bit of an ombre. Oh, I know. I mean, my neighbours are great. Like, I often take bottles as well, because, you know, we're doing the craft classes and that, and we're decorating bottles. Well, you know, I usually ask her, can I take them? She doesn't mind. Sometimes she has some really good, interesting ones, like the Di Serrano bottle, because that's a good one. It's a nice shape. And then on the bottom of them, just to ombre it up, I'm putting wild honey. There's not a massive difference in the two, but there's just enough for you to be able to see that there's a difference in these two colours. So you do get it all over your fingers. I'm not really one for using tweezers. I find it's too fiddly with tweezers. There we go. So that's the letters done. And then I've stamped out 5 of the little tiles, and we're just going to glue these letters on to the tiles. So that we have happy birthday. And again, on the back of each one of these, I have put a foam pad, just to lift it up when we put it on the inside. There we go. I have not made, when I made this, I have not made a pop-up card for ages. And I thought, you know, it would be quite nice to do one with a little vase, you know, a little bit of vase in it with some flowers in. There we go. Put them in line so I don't spell happy wrong. There we go. A little bit on there. And then put the hat on. And we're good. Again, I'm going to wipe my fingers because I don't want to get yellow ink all over the inside of my card. So open it up. There we go. It's all stuck nicely. And it's now time to put the birthday, happy birthday in. So let's see. I'm going to keep that up a minute. It's going to work, is it? Probably should have done this before I put it together. So that might be an idea for you guys. Do this first. Before you stick it together. Lay down. There we go. So, what are you all up to today then when this is finished? I've got crafting to do. Good crafting day. Thank you, Donna. Thanks, Jenny. Not difficult, this one. Just a bit fiddly. But I guess once you've got the... oh, I've got the eye upside down, look. Make sure that's right, girls. Make sure you've got your... and boys, make sure you've got your ombre going the right way, or that would have stuck out like a sore thumb. I can hear you all shouting in the background. Oh! Yeah. Yeah, Father's Day. Yeah, that would be nice. Father's Day. especially if he's he likes gardening, or a retirement card, or, you know, whatever. I mean, who doesn't like some flowers? It's always welcome. Happy birthday. I mean, level them up, girls and boys, so that they're straight on the card. Obviously, I might have a little bit of gaff one side. You crafting as well, Philippa? So, start with P, because that's the middle letter. Okay, and we can sort of put the P right in the middle there, and then work out. And then you know that's kind of in the middle of the birthday. Or spread them out, up to you how you do this bit. I mean, the decorating, whenever we do anything for a live, I mean, you know, it's just a guide, isn't it? I mean, you can copy it verbatim, I've no problem at all, but you will always take it and add your own little twist to it, you know, and that's what's so great, because then we get ideas from what you've done as well, so it's all good. So there we go. Happy birthday. And then if you want to put some gems on, or stickles, glitter glue, any of those things, and it does go inside of there and flat to post, and you can get it in an 8x8 envelope, which is great. You don't have to make a special envelope. So that's it. How to make a pop-up card in one easy move. So I hope you enjoyed that, and we shall see you again in a fortnight. Philippa will be up again next week, I think. She'll let you know anyway. Philippa's our tech guru and keeps everybody knowing what they're doing. She's like a little human calendar. So thanks very much for joining me this morning, and I will see you soon. Bye.